Welcome back, everybody. As we continue to honor the life and memory of Melissa and Mark Hortman, we are joined now by three friends and colleagues who knew the late Speaker Emerita best. DFL State Representatives Brad Tabke, we also have Representative Sam Sencer-Mura here, and Cedrick Frazier as well with us this morning. Thank you all so much for being here on a very difficult day. It's hard to believe it's been 1 year already. Representative Tabke, I know you had a very special bond and friendship with Melissa. Just tell me about that relationship that you all had.
Yeah, we went through a lot of political turmoil together, and a lot of different things happened, and got to become close friends, and really very much appreciate and love the fact that I was lucky enough to have that time with her before she was taken from us way too soon. And it is good and hard and all the things. And so we're thinking about her, we're thinking about Colin and Elena and Sophie and Harry and Linda and Mark's parents today, and just holding everybody close.
And Representative Sencer-Mura, I think you said you'd met Melissa in 2022 for the first time.
Yeah.
Bring me back to that first initial meeting and your relationship since then, how it grew.
Well, I say that I came into the house that Melissa built, right? When I came in, she had already been speaker for 2 terms for 4 years, and I really came into an institution that she helped mold, and one of the things that I think is an impact of her legacy is just trying to make our institution more friendly to the people that work in it. Melissa cared deeply for legislators and wanted to think, how can we balance this job, especially for people that have growing families. She did a lot to make sure that we could bring our kids to the house. I had a baby in 2025 and was able to bring that baby for months. She also made sure that we stopped going past midnight so that we could all get home safely. And she just made it a more welcoming place for us and especially for the staff that we worked with. And I do think, that's one of the impacts of her legacy that I really benefited from.
Yeah, that word welcoming, we hear from almost everybody that we talk to about Melissa. Representative Frazier, you've known her the longest out of everyone here. It's what, since 2016?
Yeah, I met Melissa first, actually door knocking for her in the city of Brooklyn Park, where she lived and where she represented. And I think what I think about the most was about Melissa is that she understood that it was important for representation to reflect what the state looks like and therefore what the country looks like. I remember when they came into the majority and she made a decision to appoint chairs of committees, not based on seniority, but based on the leadership in the caucus and then what was reflected in the community. And I think it really paid off for the entire state. You look at the legislation that we've done throughout the time that she was our leader, and specifically in the trifecta, we really did things that were impacting all of Minnesota, making sure we left no one behind in terms of how policy was going to impact their lives for the better moving forward.
What was it like having to return to the legislature knowing she won't be there?
Hard. It was a really hard session, and one of the really beautiful but really hard things was that our chief clerk, Patrick Murphy, since right after she was killed, has brought a beautiful bouquet of roses to her desk every single day. And so many people found kind of simple ways to honor her, but those kind of symbols were everywhere around the Capitol. We kept her desk with a picture of her and with a bouquet of roses, and so we would be in the middle of some debate, and it would just kind of look back and you see that, and you're reminded, if you weren't already, that there's a really important person who's not here right now, but is here in some way.
Yeah, I mean, her spirit was really there with us. I mean, we know there was work that we had to, for example, saving HCMC. We knew there was work that we had to get done, and Melissa would always say, get the work done. Our job, they send us here, our voters send us here to get the work done and take care of them. So her spirit was there the entire time, but it was hard not having her physically present to help guide us through those moments. But
one thing that comes up a lot when I do talk to people about Melissa, and maybe this is a side that we didn't get to see, maybe members of the public didn't get to see as much, is that she was really funny. She had a great sense of humor. I've heard that time and time again. Is there an anecdote or something that happened that just reminds you of, yeah, that was Melissa, that kind of just shed some light on the type of person and the kind of humor that she had?
Yeah, she also didn't know that she was funny as well.
Which is always great because those are the funniest people.
Right, exactly. She had a tendency to make extremely off-color jokes when she didn't intend to make extremely off-color jokes. And so it was, and she was, and that was what was one of the great things about her, was that she was just all very much 100% there, 100% present, and she would just say whatever was on her mind. And we were talking about her the other day, and like everyone talks about how like calculated she was in things and how straightforward she was in things, but it was also funny that she was very straightforward on things, but depending on the day and depending on the hour, you talk to her about something, it could be straightforward in this direction or straightforward in that direction, and it had a tendency to shift and change as things moved. And so it was just wonderful to work with her and also to navigate the Melissa-isms of things.
Straightforward can mean many different things,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And I saw you kind
Especially in
of
legislature.
smiling over there at that.
Well, I was remembering some of those straightforward moments that shifted. I'll save those for later, but yeah.
Well, obviously the way that she and her husband passed made international headlines.
Yeah.
That's not what we want to focus on today. So for members of the public, just what's one thing about, the Hortmans that you hope they remember, that they take away from their story and their lives?
I hope that people take away and remember and hold close just the incredible family that they built together, and how amazing like the family is, and how Harry and Linda have rallied around that's Melissa's mom and dad, and just the incredible work that they've all done, and how everyone has come together around helping Paws and Gilbert, and that we went to, my youngest and I went to the ceremony where they were, they were giving the puppies they were meeting their new
wow.
families for the
Yeah,
first time.
that's special.
And it was just wonderful to see how much joy and how much can come out of tragedy.
What about for you both?
I think, one of the things I think of is take the work really seriously, but don't take yourself too seriously. I think Melissa was a great model of that. She always said that these seats were incredibly, it was a gift to be in these seats, and it was a gift that in the House we have to re-earn every 2 years and go out there and talk to our neighbors and make sure that we're still representing them. But at the same time, when you're in these elected official roles, it can be easy to get a big head or to think you're more important than you really are. And so I think she really modeled how to balance that, right? And I think even coming out of this tragedy, I think her family has showed us how to model that. The advice that they gave to us in the days after her death was bake a cake, right? Or plant a tree, or spend time with your loved ones. And I think that is just as much a way to honor her.
Yeah.
I think I just want people to know how much her and her family cared about the state. I mean, it's to be a legislator is hard. You spend a lot of time with your family, but to be the leader of that body, you even spend more time. I mean, you're dealing with all of the members and maybe their family issues to keep those things going in a smooth direction. But you're also dealing with all the issues and all the different stakeholders within the state that want to see things see things done. And they may not all want to get there in the same way, but I think one of the truly great things about Melissa was she was able to get all 70 of us when we were together, keeping us going in the right direction. And that's a very hard thing to do with so many different personalities and so many big heads. But she was great at that. But she did it, and she put up with that because she really cared about this state, and she really knew how important it was for when people send representatives to do the work of the people and get it done. And I want people to remember that.
Well, we thank you so much for taking some time out of your day, especially on a day like today, to be here with us this morning. We do have more coverage coming up honoring and remembering the lives of the Hortmans, but we do have to take a short break, and we'll be right back.